Number 3 is the lasso tool. So the lasso tool is up here on your toolbar. It's the letter L. It's the letter L for all 3 lassos. So there's 3 different types of lasso we'll go over. Because I do use all 3 pretty regularly. It just depends on what kind of job is needed, really. So the first one is just a lasso tool. So if you click, what we're going to try and do is cut out this section here. If you click, drag and hold, you'll see this line turns up like this. So if you were to try and cut this shape out, you'll realize that freeforming is actually it's basically like freestyling a lasso tool. It's really difficult to get a really exact line. You'll see like that's nowhere near. So that is much more useful for if you're not too worried about where the line is going, or it's a bit more of a freeform shape, but you can see the selection you've made with these little marching ants, they're called. But you can see the selection there. Once you've made your selection, let's say you make a rough selection here. If you right click, you can then do a couple of different things. One of the useful things that I use quite often is layer via copy. So it's made a copy of your selection on the layer, but it's not deleted it from the image itself. Or go back to selection if you right click, so I just undid there. If you go back, you can go layer via cut, which means that this image is actually cut out from that image. So you can see it's 2 separate layers. This is also when you could see with when you cut out the image. Let's say you go layer via copy here. You can see it's a really hard line because it's just taken that. What you can do is with this feathering up here, if we turn that up to 20 pixels, let's say, when you go to select now, if we copy this layer via copy, you can see it's a much softer layer, and that's called feathering. So it's gone by your line, but it's actually bled out a little bit. So quite nice if you want to make sort of softer selections. Okay, so that's the first lasso, and in the second lasso, polygonal lasso tool, polyagonal, however you want to say it. This is a points sort of lasso, so you click, and then on your next point you click and you click and you click. So you don't click and drag with this one, you just click and then find your next point and click like that. So not so great with curves, but really good if you wanted really hard edges. And then when you're finished, you see the little circle that turns up on the icon there. You click, and then the marching ants are back, and you can do the same process again. So right click, layer via copy, layer via cut, or you can also free transform things. So if you had this selection, you wanted a free transform. So with this, for instance, if you wanted to reduce the size, or make it a little bigger, you can. Move that about, and then if you're happy with your selection, either press enter or the little tick up here. Or if you weren't happy with your selection, you could click the little circle with a line through it. The third one, so if we go select, deselect up here, so it deselects everything that we've done. If we zoom in, so with the zoom button here, we'll just click a couple times. The magnetic lasso tool. This lasso tool works really well if you have good contrast as well. So what this will do is it'll stick to the color that you want it to. So don't worry too much about your settings for now. Just have a little play with it, and then you can up the settings that I'll show you in a second. But if you click, it will just snap to the color. So because I've chosen an image that's got two quite distinct colors, not like a light grey and a slightly lighter grey, this is quite clearly different colors, but you can see this is snapping to the image, so I'm not clicking for each one of those little dots, it's doing that for me. So if we press escape to stop that, with the frequency, let's say we make that 150. Oh, well, let's say we make that 100 then. You'll see that this makes loads more dots. So if you really wanted to get accurate with it, you can really do it. So if you had a bit of time, so let's say you zoomed in a little bit, and then when you get to the edge of the image, you had more image to do. If you hold down spacebar, it turns to a hand. Click, hold, and drag, and then let go spacebar, and then you can carry on with your image. If you keep doing that, and then this works in the same way that the polygonal lasso tool works, in that once you've finished it, you just need to wait for that circle to appear. You need to go back to the original point, and then you can do what you want to do with it. Okay, so if you want to get back to your full screen, go Command 0. It's always a useful one. So we'll go select, deselect, or Command or Control D, and that's your lasso tool. So have a little go with that one. It does take a bit of getting used to. Maybe pick your own images if you want to find some other images. Unsplash.com is where I've got a lot of my images from. So that's really nice, and it's also open for, you can use them commercially, and they're really, really nice photographs, which is cool.